Inside the Triangle, the Decker Truckline Podcast.
Welcome to Inside the Triangle. This week we're going to talk with Shawn Swallows. Shawn is one of my lease purchase drivers. You started here as a company driver first, Shawn, and then you moved into the lease purchase program.
Yeah.
So I show you started here June of 2016 is when you started here as a company guy.
I started in March, but I finally got my truck in June.
Okay. All right. So what did you do before you came to us?
I was a coal miner for 10 years.
Coal miner?
Yeah, down in Southern Illinois.
Okay. That's a dirty, thankless, crappy job, isn't it?
Yeah. I kept worrying about if we're going to have a job next week or not, so I went back to trucking. I did that back in 99 and 2000, so I came back to it.
Okay. So when you were in the coal mines, were you down in the coal mines, or were you doing strip mining back then, or was it driving?
1,100 feet underground.
1,100 feet underground. Okay. So kind of nice being out in the sunshine now.
Yeah. Nice office window.
All right. And when you started here, did you start out right away in the flatbed division? Had you go out training and everything then, or?
I did 2 weeks with my trainer, and then I went into flatbed right after that. I've been flatbed the whole time I've been here.
Okay. Have you been Southern flatbed the entire time?
Well, they started me up here, and then I got transferred down to Southern flatbed.
Okay, because I know you live kind of on the border between two different divisions. So,
yeah.
And you're Shawn is a runner. He likes to run. It's not an issue, and our Southern division usually handles that a little bit better than the Northern division does. So, and that's worked out well for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I got this truck second week of July 2016. I put 600,220 miles on it since then.
Okay, and that's combination of company and lease purchase because you're currently buying the truck. So
yeah.
Okay, so when you started flatbed, you did your training for 4 weeks, correct?
I did 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. And did you go out with a trainer?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did that translate into what once from the time you were done with training until you were on your own? I always tell guys, you got about a 3-month period where you had a lot of learning to do.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I picked it up a little bit quicker because I'd done it before, but it's been 20 years since I've done it. So, yeah, I picked it up a little quicker than most people do. But, yeah, there's a lot of learning to do. If you don't know what to do, then you need to ask.
Yep. Because, the thing I always tell guys is, you take an experienced guy like you, okay? You could go you've been to Coil Plus before in Chicago, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And in Coil Plus, we go in there and they hand you a set of bills and they say, okay, pull around back and be ready. You don't know what you're getting. I mean, kind of. And then they dump it on the trailer. You could probably be out of there in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. A guy just coming out of training or just learning?
Probably about 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say 3 hours. So it's a big learning curve that they have to go through. So you did that for almost 2 years as a company driver.
Yeah.
And I happen to run the numbers a little bit. Now, your scorecard average during that time was about 950. All right. So, because I always like to point out that a good scorecard guy is going to make a great lease purchase driver. And you've proven that.
Yeah.
So how did you look at your scorecard performance? Did you just do anything different? I know you like to watch a scorecard and you were after it. So how did you approach it?
I just approached it like if I seen something I was messing up on, I improved on that as much as I could and just keep doing as good as I could every week just to keep my scorecard up as high as I can.
Okay. Because now you've been in the lease purchase program since I showed end of June of 18 is when you went into it.
Yeah.
In the truck you're currently in. So do you still follow the fuel routing and the idle time? And because I know your scorecard in the last 8 scorecards so far in the last year, you've had a perfect 1,000. Now we don't take fueling into it, but do you still follow that compliance and idle time?
Idle time, yes. As far as my fuel stops, it depends on how much fuel I got and if I got enough to get to where I'm going. And if it's going to be cheaper in the state I'm going to.
Okay. So you take both and analyze it and do it that way. Okay. All right. So what about now taxes-wise? You use ATBS?
Yes.
Okay. How have they done for you?
They've done pretty good. I mean, certain times when I first started with them, I didn't really get very much communication with them. But after I explained to them that I needed to talk to them more about it, they call me once a month, whether I need to talk to them or not.
Okay. Have they given you your profit loss statements? Are they helping you with the quarterlies and everything like that?
Yeah, they do that every month.
Okay.
Or every quarter, I mean.
Okay. Now, one of the biggest things you're actually in yours. So with our lease purchase program, you bought it out for a little while until you had about 2 years left. And then at the end of the 2 years, you had a choice to make, and you chose you want to own this truck.
Yeah.
You've had it since basically day one.
Yeah.
So when you get this truck paid for, what are you going to do?
Well, I've thought about putting somebody in it and then leasing another one.
Okay.
Or like getting one of the 389s that's coming up to sell.
Okay.
And then try to buy it.
All right, cool. So you think those 389s, you think they're fuel efficient?
Probably about the same as what mine is now since I got so many miles on it.
Yeah. Has your fuel mileage dropped?
Yeah.
It has?
Yeah, I'm getting about, with the 48,000 pound load, I get about 7.2.
Okay. Well, that's still not bad. I mean, considering what were you getting before? I
was getting like 8.3.
Okay. And what does that miles per gallon translate to?
Money in the pocket.
Okay. And I know your wife is, I've talked to your wife many, many times. His wife is very
outspoken.
Outspoken. I wouldn't say outspoken. She's just very involved in what you do.
Yeah.
And she looks out for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she looks at all that stuff and she tells you your fuel mileage sucks, so pick it up, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And I know you've won Driver of the Month a number of times.
I've won it every year since I've been here so far.
Okay. And then just this last year, you were up for Grand Champion, and you and your wife were up here for the few days.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that experience?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, I got to meet a lot of people I've never really talked to. I mean, I know them, but I've never talked to them. Mm-hmm. And then sit down and have dinner with them and all that. Yeah, that was pretty nice.
And what'd you do with the money?
Paid off bills.
You didn't buy a toy or nothing like that?
No.
Okay. So, do you think our lease purchase program could work for the right guy?
Yeah, I believe it's. When I first started with the lease purchase, nothing against Decker, but I looked at everybody to see who had a better lease purchase program. And actually, at the time when I looked at it, this was number 2.
Okay.
Out of all the surrounding states, and probably a 28-state span. Mm-hmm. This was number 2 on the highest.
Okay. So it's pay-wise, you're doing exactly pretty much what you want. I know everybody has, a lot of guys don't understand, and you're going to have some bad weeks. Now, the one thing I really think, and you use it quite often, that escrow program that we have to where you can set that money aside for if something goes wrong. I think we just used it last month, didn't we?
Yeah, because I was down for 2 weeks because I had to put new kingpins in my truck, and the first place put them in, messed them up, so it had to go another place to get put in, done right.
And that wasn't our shops.
No, it was a Peterbilt, actually.
Yeah. And so you were able to not fall behind. No. Not really. You still had some money saved up you actually took some money out of that for a home account. Yeah. So that system works if you use it. And the key to it is not to just put the minimum of $50 a week in there.
I put $150 in it for a while. And then when I borrowed that out, when I was down, I started putting $200 in to build it back up because it's nice to have if you need it.
Well, I think you used it one time for your taxes, didn't you? I think you called me and said, hey, my tax bill's due, dump $4,000 or whatever it was into that account, and we did that. It worked great.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the maintenance? What do you think of the maintenance, how the maintenance fee works? How do you think of that?
Well, since I'm doing the buyout, I pay 12 cents a mile. It all goes into one account, so everybody has the option. If they need something, it's there. Mm-hmm. And you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about if you got the money in your account or not because everybody's joined at one hip, so it's all there.
Yep. And it's nice. I mean, you throw, like the cane pings, you throw, you didn't see a bill on that, did you? No. Just come out of that fee. You throw a rod. I mean, guess what? You're going to put a new motor in it. So everything's covered, which is pretty nice. So
yeah. Okay. I mean, that's why I was going to, after we get my buyout done, I'm going to talk about that too. So
okay. Well, when your buyout is done, just see. I mean, you're going to have to set up your own own deal. So yeah, we'll have to get together. Me and you will get together and figure out how we want to do that. A lot of my owner operators do similar to what you're doing into that escrow.
Yeah.
They just put it into that one, so it works out pretty good. So
yeah, I'll probably just keep like putting 12, 15 cents a mile in a maintenance account to keep it going.
Okay. So if you had any advice to anybody, say, that wanted to come here like you did, what would it be?
Just keep your miles going, keep your fuel down as much as possible, no idle. as much as not any. And then watch your fuel stops, because that right there will kill you at the end of the week.
So, and when you say maintenance, or, you know, the idle, I should say, you know, that translates also into less breakdowns, because if I recall, I mean, except for kingpins and some stuff like that, you really haven't had a lot of major DEF issues or anything like that, have you?
I've had one dust sensor, and that was when the kingpin went out at the same time.
Okay.
But other than that, the only thing I've had is the EGR valve went out.
Okay.
And 550,000 miles.
Okay. How's that transmission been performing for you? Because you do have that 10-speed automatic.
Yeah, it took some getting used to it, but after you get used to it, it's not too bad.
Okay. How about equipment-wise, as far as our trailers? I know we're getting more and more. We've switched from the manual dump valves now to the automatic dump valves. What do you think?
I'm not too keen on it, but
You're not? See, I'm the opposite.
well, there's some places we go to that's job sites for flatbeds that is low clearance that you have to dump the valve to get under it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't, you ain't going to clear it, and they got to come out there and do it.
Okay. So I know that we've had some issues. Guys, pay attention to this, where especially with flatbed, they're dumping the trailer. They're forgetting that automatic dump valves, and they'll get on a cat scale. They'll dump the valve.
Yeah.
Well, now all of a sudden they're showing 15,000 pounds up on their steer tires instead of their. And it's because they dumped their trailer valve, so it shifted all the weight, and so we're having to kind of relearn that system.
Yeah, I've done that once.
You did that once?
Yeah, and the guy at the scale house said, I think you're a little overweight. I said, oh, hang on a minute. Push that release valve back in, and he said, okay, you're good.
Yeah. We used to have guys that would forget to flip the manual one, and they would go and they would get caught, and then we'd like, there's no way this can be. You can't be this much weight, and go back. Well, but they still got the ticket anyway because they crossed it overweight. So what about flatbed equipment-wise, the tarps, the straps, and everything that come with the truck? Do you think we give you guys enough equipment?
Yeah, if everybody take care of them like they're supposed to, yeah, they're good equipment.
Okay. So what's some of your favorite customers to go to that we have?
I'd say probably like the USG over here, and probably like the US Pipe down in Birmingham.
So we do a lot of drop and hook.
Yeah.
And especially up here in the north. I mean, we do far more drop and hook up here. Now, also, I forgot to mention, Shawn is on the percentage program.
Yeah.
So we do have a Western division at Reefer that is on a mileage program, but he's on percentage program. So what is the key to making money on the percentage program?
I think the roads you can do like in a 5-hour run pays more than a long haul runs do most of the time, because you count in your fuel and you count in your road tax for every state you're going through, and sometimes that shorter run pays more than a long run does.
Well, and the revenue per mile is a lot higher on the shorter runs. It really is. It's not how many miles you make, but it's how much money you make per mile.
Yeah.
And guys have a hard time. They want to take that long, easy run because, it's easy. I don't have to touch the load for 2 or 3 days. But, would you rather make $3 a mile for 100 miles, or would you rather make, $1 a mile for 500 miles?
Just like last week, I done 7 loads out of here and over in East Chicago. And if I'm down south, I do 5 loads probably every week, sometimes 4.
Okay.
But I pretty much made about the same amount of money on each one. Now, last week, I'll probably make more money than I would on those 4 runs down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and up here, I mean, the revenue per mile is a little bit higher up here in the north. But now our costs, because we have toll roads up here, and as you know, we got the tolls, but you got to watch that, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Because didn't we have a discussion here a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, about Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. That'll sneak up and bite you in the butt, won't it?
Yeah. $396 worth.
Yeah, exactly. And one trip.
Yeah.
So you got tolls up here, but you also have some loading charges. Because how has your loading charges been going?
They've been averaging between $34 to $48 a load.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Except for a couple of places that they just don't
tarp.
Don't tarp, yes. And since I've been here 20 years, they haven't changed, and I don't ever foresee them changing.
Yeah, they just drape the tarps and let it go and say, we tarped it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, and then they charge you the money for it.
Yeah, one of them specifically is Nashville, Arkansas.
Yeah. I was thinking Shoals, Indiana, and
No, Shoals
East
actually
Chicago.
started tarping it.
Oh, they have?
And East Chicago's tarping now.
Okay. Because
I mean, you got to adjust them a little bit, but they're tarping.
that's not bad because we used to go to Shoals, and I don't know, they would throw straps over the top of the tarps and then throw the ropes up underneath the tarp. So you had to, it was not fun. So
Well, the main one doing it now is like Nashville, Arkansas.
okay,
They drape the tarps over and then throw 2 straps over the whole load, and that's it.
that's it. So you're doing it all anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about Bessemer. Who's your DM down there?
I got Demisha Hubbard.
Demisha. Okay. How are you and Demisha get along?
Oh, we get along good.
Okay. She's like your mom, isn't she? I mean,
Yeah, she gets on me when when she needs to.
she don't take nothing, and if you mess up, she will tell you. She will call you out. But if you do an awesome job, she will take care of you.
Oh yeah, she has. She took care of me ever since Brandon Smith left, and I got Demisha, and I ain't had no complaints out of her at all.
Okay. How about the Bessemer Terminal down there overall? What would you say about them?
Overall, I say they're all pretty good people down there. Some of their rules are being changed that we got to learn, but that's just part of growing, I guess.
Yeah. So you know we're going to Geotab.
Yeah.
So we got some new learning to do here pretty soon.
Well, I tested that already.
You did? Okay. Yeah. And so.
Well, the system I tested was on a different service.
Okay.
So it wasn't worth a crap to me because it was slower than the Qualcomm.
Yeah.
But I heard that the new that we're going to is on Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be a lot better.
Okay, good. Yeah, Verizon is a lot larger network. I think it's one of the better. I don't know if you use that for your cell phone or not. But
I use Straight Talk, but
okay. What Bessemer down there, the shops, they always did well for you if you ever need anything? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the new system, like I said, you got to get used to because when you pull in there, they're going to have you for 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. Mm-hmm. But used to it'd be like 2 or 3 hours, and they have you fixed and gone.
Yeah, oil changes and services have changed a lot.
Yeah.
But they've extended them out to where, when I owned my own truck, I was servicing every 10,000 to 12,000 miles. Yeah. So you're going, 30?
Yeah, 30.
30,000. So you're getting, it may take you longer, but it's only one time instead of 3 different times. So it works out the same. So,
yeah.
And your truck, everything, did you get the Geotab? So when you did that, did you run OmniTrax and Geotab together?
Yeah, I ran both at the same time.
So
it was confusing.
It was confusing?
Yeah, I mean, the Geotab was more confusing than the Qualcomm because I'm so used to it. But you was able to take the tablet out with you, and like if you had something to take pictures of, you can take pictures of the damage or whatever to load, and it's a lot easier to do it that way. But you can do the same thing with your cell phone too. But
So you use TransFlow on the cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. I mean, for pictures and everything like that, scanning in your paperwork, I think it's smooth.
Well, I still do the scanning on the scanner.
Do you?
Yeah. Okay. Some reason I just don't trust the cell phone to have a good picture enough to take it and send it in.
Okay. All right. So up here, when you come up here, the shops, same thing. I know you got a great relationship with the shops up here.
Yeah.
They're always helpful. Night ops, how do they treat you?
Well, they treat me good. I mean, anytime I need anything or anytime that I have a question for them, they pretty much right on the spot answering real quick as they can. As much as what they're limited to.
Okay. All right. Well, anything you want to add to what you thinking about lease purchase? Any advice you want to give to somebody looking into it?
Well, if you're going to go lease purchase, just make sure you have the right mindset to do it. Because if you don't, if you're just going in and you think you're going to make this big money and you ain't going to have no cost at the end of it, you're wrong because it's going to bite you in the ass all the way through.
Well, I get it. So a lot of the guys that call me they see these figures of, my owner operators make $160,000 a year, $180,000 a year. Well, yeah, but you got to remember what's left after that because they don't take into account the cost.
Yeah, like last year I made $234,000, I mean, but I may have brought home probably $84,000.
Yeah,
after everything's out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the big difference is there's a huge that fuel cost. I mean, anytime you can save on that, it's more money in your pocket. That's for sure.
That's one good thing about Decker. They have that discount for fuel that we get, so it helps out a lot on your fuel costs.
Mm-hmm. What about, your scorecard bonuses? What do you use them as specific for anything, or do you just, that just adds to the?
That just goes into the bank for like taxes or something I want to put on the truck or something like that.
Okay. So what are you going to change anything on the truck? You're still running pretty much the stock everything what are you going to change?
When it's paid off, I'll probably take and change up the speed a little bit to about 72. I don't want to go much more than that because it's going to eat in the fuel. Mm-hmm. But it's enough to get around somebody if I have to.
Okay.
It's really ain't much I want to change.
Okay. Well, thank you, Shawn. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
I know you're heading up to Wisconsin, so enjoy the heat wave we got going right now.
Yeah.
But next, we're going to have some words of wisdom from Anna. All right? Thanks, everyone.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Trucking Vocabulary for Beginners. Well, I've been in the industry for a couple of years, and this one threw me for a loop. I was talking with the driver, and he went on to tell me a story. I was driving, and I just barely swerved to miss an alligator. And I was like, oh my goodness, you swerved. I'm thinking he's in one of the southern states, swerved to miss an alligator. And I, concerned, was the alligator okay? Was he still alive? What happened to the alligator? And I hear him just laughing. Oh, not a real alligator. Do you know what an alligator is? And I'm thinking, yeah, I know what an alligator is. It's like a big lizard, It's akin to a dinosaur. It looks an awful lot like a crocodile. I said, an alligator. I was concerned about the alligator. He's like, no, young lady. An alligator is when a tire on a big rig explodes and the tread is separated from the big tire. And I was like, oh, okay, that's an alligator. I said, so wait, you don't call it a crocodile? No, young lady, that's fashion-forward footwear for truck drivers. Anyways, I learned what an alligator is and what a crocodile is. So, word for the day, trucking vocabulary for beginners, alligator.
As always, thank you for listening to Inside the Triangle. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whatever platform you're listening on. That way you will know when the new episodes drop. And remember, submit your questions to podcast@deckermail.com and you could be featured on one of our upcoming episodes. The best way to do this is to create a voice memo on your smartphone, record your question, and email it to podcast@deckermail.com. Once again, thank you for listening. Stay driven to be the best.